I was only 2 years old when I had this brain disease. A brain disease that might as well kill me, but eventually it didn't. I was 2 years old, and after I came out of it, I said to my parents that there were always strange animals or animalistic beings that I could see. And I sometimes remember it. I could sometimes remember it. That I could see much more than what humans could see. Whenever I said, "Look over there, there is something strange over just by your side." And they said, "No, it's nothing, over imagination." But I believe that I had something that night whenever I had this disease. You could say that, yeah, there are a lot of people in this world that says, "Oh, Jesus saved me from a disease." Well, I think that I'm actually not that far away when I say the dragon saved me that night. Whenever they said I was struggling with myself in this last night, that some people have already gave up on me, that I already was going away, passing away. But there was one night that I always did like this, and with my brain that was just fighting with something. And the day after everything was done, I was healed. And then after a while, I say to the people, "Look at these creatures by your side. Look at them. Look at this dinosaur by your side." Actually, it was a dragon, but I didn't know what a dragon was back then. So I said a dinosaur by your side. Of course, the people said, "Ah, what kind of over imagination was that?" So the last thing that I could actually remember was when I was 6 years old, and I could very much remember the dragon. And I loved that dragon so much because he chased away all of these others, that wanted to touch me. And I didn't like them to touch me. I was actually very afraid to sleep alone. I was always sleeping with my mom because I always was afraid of these beings. But whenever the dragon was close, I felt protected. I felt secure. Yeah, like I said, a lot of people claim that some kind of a god of themselves have actually saved their lives and saved them by their side. And yeah, I might as well could say that. Later on, I could also say that the dragon prevented me from doing suicide. I also always wanted to do this because I was bullied so much. Of course, not always, but I wanted to do this so much because I felt so unworthy. Everyone wanted to bully me. I was so different than everybody else. So after a while, I said, "Why should I stay?" But then something happened, and that it was like when I had this knife. I wanted to slit my pulse, but something stopped me, and I knew it was my dragon. And that is actually the thing. I was actually always atheist. I didn't see it. I didn't believe it. I didn't care for it. So but there was something about the dragon. Whenever I see the image of a dragon, I always remind myself of what I've seen before. What I've seen when I was 6 years old. Also, what I've seen when I was 18 years old, once I had my awakening. I remember this dragon. I've seen this dragon before. It was not something in my dreams, it's something that I've seen with my awakening eyes when I was 6 years old. And I could say, um, whenever I was invited in this radio station to talk about the dragon's bath, I talked about this dragon, the dragon that was very close to me, the dragon that I also am. Um, I know, I'm sure that a lot of people have by their side, a lot of people and that is such a problem, that a lot of people have so much doubt in themselves and not knowing that there is a dragon by their side. You have a dragon by your side. If you have so much interest in this comes from somewhere. This comes from within. This comes from deep inside of yourself. That you have actually a dragon by your side, or several dragons by your side. That is what I call you have a dragon eye. You are born with a dragon eye. That means that one or several dragons are by your side, including dragon gods. But how do you explain this to people that never heard of it? I said to them, the dragon is like Jesus. I was raised Catholic, so I can say this. The dragon is actually like Jesus. Some people even claim that Jesus is a dragon. But out of that, I know where this comes from, but yeah. I said the dragon is actually like my Jesus, so he's like your Messiah. Actually, yes, the dragon shows me a path that only I can take and only I should take. A lot of people have this Jesus dragons by their side, simply because they are born with it. And so they are showing them the way how to live their life fully. But they have to get rid of their doubt, or else they will erase. Actually, there will be a wall in between you and your dragon. So in fact, I told them there is something like a Messiah by my side, but no one else should know about it. I talk about dragons simply because I know that there are a lot of people with dragons by their side. And so I sometimes words can do so many things. Words can do much. So if I can tell you something, my brother or sister, speak about your dragon with pride. With pride. I can say to you, a lot of people have laughed in my face, but after a while, it's just yeah. But now I just talk about the dragon with pride, and that is what I should, because I'm I'm convinced that I'm still here talking to you because of the dragon, because of what the dragon actually did when I was 2 years old, having this brain disease, doing like this, with fever that is deadly for days, for so high, and that it was done in one day or another. That sometimes your dragon is there to be your guardian. And a lot of people, when they say, "Oh, Jesus saved me," no one but Sinai, no one, no one. But when I say it was actually my dragon that saved me that day, and he continued to save me on different kind of days. For example, when my father was driving too fast, it was like the dragon was shouting my ear, let him slow down, because deer are going, no, no, not deer, wild boar are going to cross the road, and it will be deadly. Just say to him that he has to slow down. I say to him, he slowed down, and wild boar crossed the road. And he was looking at me like I was some kind of a witch. And actually, I am a witch. I am a witch. So I speak to dragons. But of course, I could not say to him at that moment. I actually listened to my dragon. I listened to my dragon. My dragon said this was going to happen, because even though it happened in front of his eyes, I can still not say. I couldn't say it. But yeah, that is what dragons do. Are your guardians. Dragons are your messiah. And that is how I could explain this to people who never knew about something like this ever. I could say, yeah, the dragon is actually how you can consider as my Jesus, as my guardian, as my messiah, as the one that actually tells me what to do inside of my life and what to do in my life. And that is what we all have. And that is what the question. So there are a lot of Jesuses. I said, yeah, there are actually a lot, many dragons that can put your path in, that you put your way free, to show you your path actually. And so that is the way how I could explain it to people, actually how I feel about the dragon. Some people just follow this religion because they are simply born with it. But tell me, who is born with the dragon's path? Simply no one. No one. Not a parent. Not a parent will say, "Oh, you have to go to the forest and pray for your dragon." No one does that. No one. It comes from yourself, from your instinct. Or even though my words can say to you that you have a dragon by your side, and you are immediately, that means that you have a dragon very close by. And that means that you shouldn't doubt yourself. Don't have doubt. Shouldn't have doubt. You should have pride. Only pride, because the dragon doesn't come to anyone just because. They have always a reason. And that is the reason because you are born with a dragon's eye. A dragon's eye is a triangle that connects you and your dragons. Your dragon guardians and your dragon gods. So this is actually a very ancient sign that is connected with you and your dragons. And that is what you are born with. This thing. This with the eye of the dragon. This is what you are born with. This is actually your cross, you can say, but then for the dragon's path. Actually, I know a lot about the Catholic path, and that is how I could describe it actually. But like I said, I am raised to love Jesus, but actually I I love the dragon, and that is how it is with everyone. Everyone else has a different Messiah. Everyone has a different God, and that is not one and the same. That is just a lie. It has so many different kind of gods, so many different kind of guardians and Messiah, you can say. It's not just one God, it's not just five gods, it's just so many of them. But there is just one star, the dragon star, that is meant for you to listen to. And that is your dragon by your side. You have a dragon by your side. You have a dragon god, even several gods by your side, to show you the way how it should be. And I could say with pride, the dragon saved my life on multiple occasions, many times. And I'm sure actually if the dragon has the opportunity to speak to you and to be by your side, I mean, and show you wherever you have to save your life on some occasions of the dragon will be there to save your life because your story needs to be told. That is the thing that I heard from my dragon. Your story needs to be told. And that is sometimes when the dragon sometimes says this to my ear, I I could remember when I was still 2 years old. My story was just begun. It was not allowed to quit where it began. It needs to continue. And that is what your story is also about. Your story needs to continue. Your story is by the side of the dragon. Even though that is a problem. No one tells you about it. You're not raised with it. But you need to feel it for yourself.